beginning of the show we've been talking about him.
Well, Jacob Wohl, this is funny too because I believe, if I recall, Gabe Hoffman told me like 9 months ago to a year ago, over a year ago now at this point, that Jacob Wohl would be indicted and arrested on federal charges. How did you know that, Gabe?
How did he know that?
Very weird, right?
It's really odd.
Yeah.
Have you been to Gabe's new site, opensecret.grabify.com? It's really cool.
No. What's the Israel? It's opensecret.grabify.is. You're like, well, wait a minute. What is this now? I hope I got that web domain.
You could have just done .com. It's the same thing.
Is .is?
I don't know. We're assuming. Guys, we meant Israel. Okay?
It was Israel. The joke was Israel.
All right.
It was.
You have to pull the card. The
joke was.
What is Israel? Jacob Wohl. Focus. You're not focusing.
Sorry.
Okay. Remember Johnny Carson? I'm kidding. In 2006.
Matt Boyer in the chat, Jacob Wohl is always up to something. Can you stop making him sound like he's just some rascal, like he's Dennis the Menace? Like he's a rascally cartoon
has a
character?
shot in his back pocket.
Oh, that Jacob Wohl. What is he going to do next? Whatever the fuck I want.
In 2016, an Arizona man called prosecutors in Riverside, California, to report that he had been ripped off. Two men in the Southern California town who claimed to be running hedge funds. Who else was a hedge fund?
What is with these hedge fund guys?
Wasn't it a hedge fund person
it's like
that told
they're
you?
all parasitic and should be removed.
Wasn't it a hedge fund person that told you about this hedge fund?
It was a hedge fund guy that told
weird.
me about this hedge fund guy.
Weird.
Yeah, all these hedge fund guys.
Let's short Tesla together.
Why don't we just outlaw the things that people do, not the people, right? Like, can't we just make being a hedge fund manager illegal?
Sure, hedge funds. I got it. I hear Wink. I hear what you're saying.
Hear me out on this.
Okay.
If you just outlawed hedge funds, you would get rid of Jacob Wohl, Gabe Hoffman. We would have never had Jeffrey Epstein, Jim Cramer. There are so many people that would just so many parasites.
Well, then and the things that come off of it, you wouldn't get the Alan Dershowitz of people that represent hedge fund managers because they built their career on just defending them. Bernie Madoff.
Irish Gallo Glass in the chat says hedge fund manager equals money launderer.
Yeah, no, pretty much. Two men in Southern California town who claimed to be running a hedge fund that had taken $75,000 from him, he said, and then promptly lost it all. The tipster later killed himself. But it's...
What?
Yeah, it says the tipster later killed himself? This is from the
In
Boston...
Minecraft.
No. This is for real.
Well, just being careful.
No, Mike. I know. Like,
just being careful.
I get you're paranoid.
I'm very jumpy now.
Hey, what would Fifth Circle Mercy?
Please don't hit me, Susan.
What would Fifth Circle Mercy?
I'm a beaten man.
We should get the ghost of fucking Fifth Circle Pass to yell at us for being pussies.
Fucking yeah, old me would have gotten fucking Susan Wojcicki's home number and been calling her
you're right.
relentlessly.
We would have been pranking her
all
at
day.
that time.
No, but like all day, every day, and getting like a hey, what's up? It's me again. Are
What's
we
up,
gonna fix
Susie?
this or what? You stop being a bitch. Are you gonna keep? Stop! I've changed my number 50 times. Hello. Hi, this is Mersh again. Can I get my fucking channel back, please?
You're gonna do like what Roger did with the gym membership to Steve.
But nowadays, you'd be put up on federal charges and be like
course.
a hate crime, and you'd be like, "What? I'm doing a bit." We used to like you get a phone number of somebody you hate back in the day. You just recorded yourself fucking with them 100 times. That was hilarious.
Do you remember when we called the dude that tried to molest John at his home? Remember that
was
that was fucking
yeah. So John told us this story about this guy when he was like a teenager that was like trying to fuck him and stuff. And
he was 18 years old. He went to San Diego with his mom, right?
Trying to get him to do porn and stuff.
Yes,
it's a whole weird thing.
Porn's a bit.
And John has a tendency to occasionally tell stories.
Yeah.
And sometimes they seem a bit embellished, but we he told this story and none of us believed him. We were all like, "You're full of shit, John." Like, nobody believed him. We were letting him tell the stories a bit. And then he's like, and we found his number. We found his name. He gave us the name.
And then we
found the
his
name.
number.
We called the guy, and the guy fucking completely corroborated everything.
He not only corroborated it. I'll find it at some point, and I'll post
Buff
it.
baby,
Dude, it's not only
you
that.
were so freaking buff.
God, he was so freaking buff, I couldn't believe it.
He sounded like
He was so freaking buff.
he sounded like the Joe Montana sports talk football guy.
Oh my God, that's right from the old Tiger
Yeah, remember
game.
that the old game? And it turns out that he was still. This is like you got to understand. 12 years later we did this. John was like almost in his 30 years old maybe at this time. The guy was still hitting on him when he called. He's like, porno's a big thing out here. I could get you doing pornos.
It was so weird, and we just sat there in shock. Like,
And then I told John, I go, John, I apologize. I'll believe everything you say from now on because that is the most far-fetched thing I've ever heard that turned out to be true. But like I said, we can't do that anymore. We're not allowed to do that anymore, so don't even joke. And I'll see if I find the clip. I know it's somewhere
it's
online.
up there.
Wohl, 21, appeared in court Wednesday and now faces arraignment in October for one count of selling an unregistered security, and at first reported by the Daily Beast. He didn't immediately return a message late Wednesday. Now, remember, Jacob Wohl is the same guy that got in trouble recently for trying to have somebody come up with a fake...
allegations against Mueller.
Allegations against Mueller, yeah. Wohl's new legal troubles date to a series of firms he ran with a partner named Matthew Johnson. Want to bet that's not his real last name?
Matthew Johnson, eh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Matty John. Riverside prosecutors began looking into the pair in June 2016 following the complaint from an Arizona man who is identified only as David in court documents. Wonder if David, could be another name.
David, eh? That's a prominent name.
Yeah, he's a real star, David. In July 2000...
Star of his firm.
Yeah, he's a star of his firm. In July 2016, a senior investigator with the Riverside County District Attorney's Office contacted Wohl's firm, Montgomery Assets, posing as a real estate agent representing an investor. Montgomery Assets purported to invest in real estate hedge funds and private equity, prosecutors say. After chatting with Johnson and Wohl for about a month, the investigator and undercover Riverside police detective set up a deal to invest $100,000 in a fund that supposedly bought and flipped houses for profit. They were promised a 17% return in the... Okay, all right.
These guys,
Dude, you can't... Who can promise a 17% return on anything? In any market? Yes.
A scam artist.
Oh, you're right.
A liar.
Liars.
Yeah, liars can do that.
About a month later, the Arizona Corporation Commission sent Wohl a cease and desist order, noting that Montgomery Asset misrepresented the size of the experience of its employees and its risk of investment. Wohl agreed to a $5,000 fine and $32,000 in restitution in the case, neither of which he had paid as of last June, reported to the Washington Post. Wohl defended his business practices at the time, telling the Post that the lack of criminal charges or lawsuits are good indications I've never done anything wrong. In the years since, Wohl made a name for himself, first as a Trump supporter and then as a dirty trickster. You can't say that, Boston Globe. Who openly aimed to sully the reputations of those he saw as the president's enemies. Late last year, Wohl and lobbyist Jack Berkman called a news conference and promised testimony from a woman who claimed Mueller had raped her. And by the way, he stayed on Twitter after that. They didn't kick him off, right?
No.
I believe he's still on Twitter, isn't he? If I'm correct, maybe he's not anymore. I don't know.
No, he got kicked off, but then he got caught with it. And I'm sure he's out. He's like Anthony Cumia. He can't help himself.
To young girls, allegedly. Look, I don't know if that's true. In April, pretty sure it's true.
Pretty sure.
Just pretty sure. I'll say pretty sure. In April, they gathered reports again, this time to level sexual assault claims against Pete Buttigieg, even though the supposed...
Butt plug's easier to say.
Yes,
though.
you're right. What was...
Pete Butt plug is catchy.
It is. Even though the supposed victim had already recanted and said he was pressured into making the false claim. Wohl also authored a document reported by the Daily Beast suggesting raising $1 million to put false information about Democratic candidates to swing betting markets. It's not clear why California prosecutors waited to file charges through the case. Case's 3-year statute of limitations was nearly up, according to Daily Beast. In court documents, prosecutors say that the $100,000 deal appeared to be an offer to sell a security by Wohl and Johnson, and the security wasn't qualified with the California Department of Business, blah, 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 blah. It's not clear from court documents if either Wohl, who lists a current residence in the nearby Corona, California, or Johnson have any attorneys yet. I'm sure they know plenty of attorneys. I promise you. Alan Dershowitz might represent them for free, for all we know.